Hello, and welcome to Women in Business, where we interview entrepreneurs and senior managers and show you the strengths, successes, obstacles, and roadblocks women experience in business. Since I believe every person in business needs to be visible, I'd like to invite you to watch www.sob6, that's the number 6, tips.com, which will give you some valuable information should you get the call to be on radio or TV, which I think is extremely important. If you'd like to contact me personally, drop me a line at Gayle Carson, that's Gayle, Gayle Carson 13 at gmail.com, or go to my website, www.spunkyoldbroad.com, and sign up for my weekly newsletter.
My guest today is Cindy Schulson. She's the founder of Marketing from Within and shows coaches and consultants how to stand out in this noisy online world by marketing with heart versus hype. She brings a decade of marketing experience working for such companies as Coca-Cola and Visa, and combined with a decade of online marketing to create a paradigm shift in how marketing can be done with integrity and heart. She's creator of the Marketing with Heart system, designed to simplify marketing while honoring your vision, value, and voice. And one of her greatest gifts is helping her clients sort through their brain dump of ideas so they can find the golden nuggets that make them shine in their own unique way. Well, Cindy, you're talking about me. My mind is always dumping. So, so I fit in there somewhere, that's for sure. So welcome, and why don't you begin by telling us your story and how you got to where you are now?
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Well, as you mentioned, as you read that, I did work in corporate America for a long time, and I was one of the lucky ones, actually. I got to live and work in 5 different countries, including Vietnam and Singapore and Holland. So I had a fun career, and it was great. But then in my late 30s, had my first child and decided it was time to reinvent myself, and decided to, just take a step back, and eventually discovered coaching and internet marketing. And I just dove in like head first. Unfortunately, I was what I like to call ignorance on fire, because I was doing everything and getting absolutely nowhere. Have you heard that one before, Gayle?
I sure have. And I'm curious, before we get into that, I understand maybe Holland and I understand maybe Singapore, but how were you working in Vietnam? What were you doing there?
Well, I'll tell you really quickly how I came to be there. I was working for the Canadian government at the time. I'm from Canada, in international development. And I had heard about this program where you basically study about Asia, and then they help you find a job there. And that program is where I met my husband, who I've been married to for 20 years now. So through that program, I ended up getting a job in Vietnam with the Canadian government. And then I found out about an opening for Coca-Cola as external affairs manager. So I worked for them in Vietnam.
So you not only had a wonderful career and wonderful jobs and met your husband, you couldn't ask for more than that.
Exactly.
So you did all these things. Now you're in your own business and you're doing all these things. You're trying all these things, and they're not working.
Yeah,
so
I'm getting nowhere.
What did you do from there?
Well, after like doing, I finally took a step back, and I just kind of thought, okay, this isn't working. It took me a year and a half to figure it out it wasn't working. Okay. And I realized that I just didn't have clear strategic focus. I wasn't clear who I was trying to help. I wasn't clear what my message was. And I put together this little step-by-step system to help me with my niche. And so I just thought, well, this could help somebody else. And I put it together on a landing page. I didn't even have a website. And within a few weeks, I had more people on my list than I did in the entire year and a half before that. And so that led to my first business, which was Attract Your Niche.
That's interesting. So you really had to go through some really negative things yourself, things that didn't work. And then once you found the kind of secret sauce, you were able to tell that to others, and that created a whole business for you.
Yeah, it really started me because, so many people struggle with this idea of niche and they know they need it, etc., but people are so stuck on it. And what I found for me and is that instead of just like choosing a target market and figuring out what they want, I was really passionate about bringing my skills and my experiences to the forefront of my business. And so that's how I approached it with this whole niche thing, was starting by looking within you. What are your strengths and your experiences and your passions, and leveraging them, because that's the problem that I had, Gayle. Like, I completely disregarded everything I brought to the table for that first year and a half. And it was like I was saying, well, that was then, this is now. And I think that's a big problem and a big mistake, because what we want to do is take those talents and skills, but figure out how to apply them in a way that we're passionate about.
Yeah, that is interesting. Normally you wouldn't do that. You'd usually say, okay, I'm experienced at this. I know how this works. So I'm just going to transition it or move it over. So, but I mean, now I think it's more confusing than ever because, online is just getting more and more crowded. Everybody's online, as they should be. So how do you stand out from everybody else?
It's such a great question. It's something that I'm just constantly focusing on. And I think the big problem is that people think that they have to shout. Like you have to have this big personality and you've just got to shout and be everywhere. And I don't have that kind of personality at all. And I really don't think you have to shout to get your message heard. I think what you have to do is to, first of all, have clear strategic focus. And secondly, is to have a really powerful message. Because the way I see marketing, it's really just sharing your message with the right people so they're inspired to take action. So what I do is I help my clients put those pieces of the puzzle together. We figure out, what is your message? Who are the right people? What is the action you want them to take? And how are you going to inspire them to take it? So it's a really sort of strategic approach to marketing instead of that, bright, shiny object tactical thing that I think so many people get sucked into.
So what do your ideal clients, and maybe I should even ask you, who is your ideal client, but what do they really care about before they hire you?
Yeah, that's such a great question. And I'll tell you who my ideal client is, and then I'll tell you from the perspective of anybody thinking about their ideal client. So for me personally, my ideal client is somebody as a coach or consultant who has a foundation of success. It can be in their career or in their business. And now they're coming online and they realize that they really need to be clear. They need a clear message. They want to do marketing in a way that honors them and their clients. And they just want a simple approach to marketing instead of this scattered approach. So that's what I take my clients through. But whether you're thinking of my ideal client or your ideal client, anybody's, I think there's three key things that they really care about. So the first one is that they want to know that you can help them. And there's so many ways to show that. So I'll just give one example if I can.
Sure, because everybody is going to say they can help you,
Yeah. Well, and it's okay to say that you can help them. And it's important to have a message that communicates that. But here's the thing. When we're putting together a message that says, well, I help so-and-so do such and such so they can, that's your typical marketing message template, right? It's not enough to just say, well, I'm going to help you get these results. I think we have to move into this place of conscious competence where we explain how we deliver those results. And I don't mean by talking about the process or, talking about the benefits of coaching or EFT or whatever the case might be, but really being able to describe the journey that we take our clients on. So I call this the client journey, and it's simply what are the steps you're going to take with your clients and what are the results they're going to get at each step. And when we can explain that in a clear, simple way, it gives our potential clients confidence that we can help them. So mine, for instance, is a really simple system. I help my clients clarify, share, and monetize their message. 3 steps. So when you can clearly define that journey, I think it really communicates that confidence. And then the second piece is you have to show that you care about helping them. And I'm really passionate about this one because, who wants to do business with somebody who's just in it for the buck, right? You want to do business with somebody that really shows that they care, not just says they care, but shows they care. So find ways to add meaningful value for people. And I think this is something that we can get really creative with. One of my favorite ways is I do a 3-day Marketing with Heart workshop series where I take people through each of those 3 steps, the clarify, share, and monetize, and do a deep dive on each day with teaching and coaching, all for free. And then the right people will raise their hand and say, yeah, I want your help implementing those steps in my own business. So that's just another example of how to show you care about helping. And then real quick, the third piece is they want to know who you really are. And I think it's really important that you stay true to yourself, be really authentic in your marketing, show up with the same energy in your marketing as you're going to show up in your coaching or in consulting work, and just be really authentic in that. And I know that word gets overused a lot, and I have to find a different one, but it's just about really being true to who you are, because don't you want to attract the people who, really value not just what you do, but who you are? To me, that makes the whole thing worthwhile. It makes it all much more fun.
Absolutely. And so when somebody does hire you, how long a process is it working with you, Cindy?
I have either a 3-month or a 6-month program, depending on what their goals are.
Interesting. Okay. So I guess I would ask you, what is one of the biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs make when they do their own marketing?
Yeah, it's all about what we were talking about earlier, what I did, the ignorance on fire thing. It's about the tactics without the strategy. So it's kind of like, people try to ice the cake or put the icing on the cake before it's fully baked. What happens? Boom, it just collapses. And so rather than get into that bright, shiny object, just get really clear on your strategic focus. And I guess this is where my background in strategic communications comes in, right? It's like being really clear on who you help, what you help them with, the results you help them achieve, and why they should work with you. And if you can get clear on that and clearly communicate that, and then you can choose the tactic that's going to be the best fit for you.
Okay, so how can we simplify our marketing? How can we simplify what we do?
So it gets back to what we talked about earlier about defining marketing in its simplest form. So marketing is sharing your message with the right people so they're inspired to take action. And we talked about the right people by starting within you at the solution you're here to provide, and then figuring out who your ideal client is for that solution and for you. But if it's okay, can I do a bit of a deeper dive on the messaging piece? Is that all right?
Absolutely, sure.
Okay, so, all right. So this was my big aha moment when I thought about the corporate world and then integrating it into entrepreneurship. We recognize and we all know that people buy on emotion and they justify with logic. We've all heard that, right?
Right.
So what that means is that your message has to connect with the hearts and the minds of your ideal clients. But here's the key that so many people overlook is that in order to do that, you have to put your heart and your mind in your message. And so what I help my clients do is create a messaging platform, because your message isn't just a sentence or a phrase. There's actually 5 different layers of your message that we create. And at the very top layer is your core message. That's the heart piece. That tells people what you stand for in your business. And when we create that core message, it becomes the heart of your brand and the umbrella for all of your marketing. So we create a core message, and then we also look at the head piece, which is that typical marketing message. That's the linear approach. Who do you help? What do you help them with? What are the results? And then what we do is this artful process of infusing the core message into the marketing message to create a truly magnetic message that allows you to attract those dream clients who value what you do and what you're all about, what you stand for. Do you want me to give an example?
I was just going to say an example. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I have so many. Let me think of one that I want to share. Okay, so here's one from a personal development coach I worked with named Lisette. There's so many personal development coaches out there, right? So her core message that we came up with is personal development isn't about reinventing yourself. It's about recognizing and celebrating who you truly are. So that's her stand. And then when we put that into her marketing message, we came up with something, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but I guide spiritual women to step into who they truly are so they can make the profound difference they're here to make. So what we want people to do is understand what our unique approach or our stand is in our message.
And all right, so can you translate that into something tangible for us to hear?
Yeah, that's what I just gave you. The core message is personal development isn't about reinventing yourself. It's about recognizing and celebrating who you truly are. So her biggest pet peeve about the personal development industry or approach is that everybody's talking about, what you want to become or who you want to become. And she wants people to understand it's not changing who you are. It's just celebrating who you already are. That's one example. Let me see if I can give you another one that's a little bit more tangible. So here's an example from a health coach, and her core message, her stand, is when you know how to listen to your body, you can become the healer you've been searching for. So her whole stand is that you don't have to go looking for doctors and this and that. Just learn how to listen to your body. Let's see if I can find. Oh, here's another one from a leadership coach. If women who focuses on women, if women really understand their true power, we would live in a different world. So that's her big message, the big idea she wants to communicate to the world. And we want to make sure we're clear on that, because every time you speak and every kind of marketing you do, you want to infuse that core message.
So you're really like this word wizard as well, So what is? Do you have a favorite marketing strategy, or do you like a lot of different things?
I'm doing it right now. I love speaking. I think speaking is the best. And you and I met at the New Media Summit, right? Where we all are speaking. I think speaking is such a great opportunity. It's funny. I think back to one of the jobs I had in corporate was I worked for a PR consulting firm. And I remember we'd get my clients, ready for media interviews. And it was always we had the key messages, which I help my clients create, which are your key speaking points, right? And that's something I help my clients do. But it was such a different atmosphere. It was this gotcha kind of thing. You know how the media is, right? What I love about the kind of speaking we're doing is you're here to help me shine, because when I shine, you shine, and we all shine together, right? It's just such a nice, supportive way. So I love speaking on podcasts and in other venues, and there's so many opportunities to speak your message. And really, don't you think it lets people connect with you in a whole other way than just, writing or whatever? It just creates this, they really get what you're trying to say. They really get who you are.
Yes, and I will tell you that more and more people are telling other people to speak as a way of promoting their business. The problem is many people are still very fearful of speaking or getting up in front of a group and talking and whereas they might be very comfortable one-on-one, when they think of one-to-many, it's a little frightening to them. So it's kind of interesting, to see how they are feeling about this. But anyway, Um, so your favorite marketing strategy is speaking, and can we simplify marketing in any way?
Yeah, so remember we were talking about that definition, right? I always go back to that. Marketing, sharing your message with the right people so they're inspired to take action. So we broke down who the right people are. We talked about the message, that you want that core message and the marketing message. So let's talk about the last part. So they're inspired to take action. And so many entrepreneurs miss the boat here. It's amazing, Gayle. The action that you most want people to take when they hear your message is get on your email list, right? And yet,
Right.
when I did a survey just last month of my list, and I asked the question, do you have a valuable giveaway? Not a newsletter, not a consultation, but a giveaway, that instant gratification thing. I can't remember the exact number, but it was around 70% of people did not yet have that in place, which is incredible, right? But so many people miss the boat on that. So we want to make sure we have a valuable giveaway that really addresses the top of mind challenges for our ideal clients and allows us the opportunity to add value and build a relationship. And of course, offer our services. So that's really important to know what your call to action is going to be.
So we have about 5 minutes left, Cindy. What is one of your biggest pet peeves about the coaching industry today?
Oh, gosh. I only can give one.
It takes you more than 5 minutes, right?
Oh, my goodness. It's the whole hypey thing more than anything. It really bothers me. The reason it bothers me so much is that I see so many coaches and consultants going literally broke. And, here's the thing. The people who are marketing all these different programs, their programs are great. I'm not putting down the programs whatsoever. But it's the way that it's often done is that, like, here's the magic bullet. This is the secret that you need to transform your business. And that's where I call BS, because that's where we have to go back to the basics of what marketing is, which I've shared like 5 times already today. And the problem is that if you don't have that clear strategic foundation, if you're not clear who you're trying to reach and what your message is and what you want them to do, then all the fancy marketing tactics in the world are going to get you absolutely nowhere. And it really upsets me to see all these people invest thousands and thousands of dollars and be absolutely nowhere in their business. So I just want people to take a step back, build that strategic foundation, and then recognize that in your marketing, you don't have to market that way. You don't have to give in to the hype and the manipulation. You can market with integrity. You can market with heart. And the way that I look at that is really marketing that honors your value. Really be sure that you're valuing what you bring to the table, your vision of what you're trying to create. It doesn't have to be, the 7-figure business or whatever people are peddling and talking about. Just build a business that's true to your vision and your voice. I really want to empower people to not just say what people want to hear. Don't just think about what your ideal clients want to hear. Think about what you want to say. Because that's where your true message is going to make the biggest impact, is that you want to reach people. Yes, you want to be able to speak the language of your ideal client. You need to speak to the conversation going on in their head, but you also want to speak your truth. And that's why I'm so passionate about helping people create that core message, because it speaks your truth. It speaks your unique perspective. So yes, it lets you stand out, but it's also letting you attract the people who resonate with your unique approach.
Okay, well, we're down to 2 minutes. So I want you to tell people where they can find you, what your free gifts are, all of those things.
Okay, sorry, I could have ranted on for a while there. Okay, wonderful. Well, I actually have, I've got a couple of things I'd like to offer people. So the best way, excuse me, is if you just go to marketingfromwithin.com. I have an authentic brand guide. And in that guide, it's actually a training video with a guide. Remember, we were talking about showing people that you can help them, that you care about helping them, and who you really are. Well, I break
Right.
down each of those three areas with lots of examples and much more specifics on how to communicate each of those three things. So if you go to marketingfromwithin.com, they can get that free gift. And I also, some people, when they hear you speak, they just want to speak to you right away. And I'm all up for that as well. So if you just want to go straight to the top of the line and have a conversation with me, just go to talkwithcindy.com.
Fabulous. Well, that's certainly easy enough to remember. Talk with Cindy, and that's Cindy, talkwithcindy.com if you want to have a conversation, and go to marketingfromwithin.com for her free authentic brand guide. That's been fabulous. Well, I think this is terrific, Cindy. I want to thank you so much for being with us, and hopefully you're going to help a lot of these women who are in business and are struggling with getting their message out, and hopefully they will be in touch with you so that you will be able to help them get to where they're going. So thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Women in Business. I hope you enjoyed today's show. And if you have any suggestions as to who you'd like me to have as a guest, just email me at gaylecarson13@gmail.com. Be sure to check out www.sob6tips.com. And in the meantime, go to www.spunkyoldbroad.com to see the resources I have for you.